Hello everyone, welcome back to the Dainty Seamstress. Today I will be showing you how to use a seam ripper. Seam rippers are tools that you can use to, in fact, rip a seam or to take out a seam in a garment. Here I have a piece of fabric that I hand sewed together, two pieces of fabric here and another piece joined on this end. When you take a look at a seam ripper, this is the one that came with my sewing machine. It has a little brush on the end to clean dust. But when you look at a seam ripper, there's a long pointed part here, and then there's a shorter part on the bottom. And then there's a little dip here. So this longer portion is going to be for you to take, and if you can see, I have some stitches here. I'm going to take the longer part of the tool, point it away from me. I'm going to take the point, slip it right underneath the thread, not going into the fabric. You don't want to do this. You don't want to pierce down into your fabric and you're going to put a hole and maybe possibly ruin your fabric. So you want to take your seam ripper, slip it right underneath the thread, and you're going to push it away from you, and it's going to rip the thread or break the seam, right? So now you can continue that, ripping it. Right? Another way you can take out a seam or rip the seam using the seam ripper, you can open, well, you can kind of like, if you kind of tug at the seam, you can see the threads from the outside of the fabric. So you can take the long part of the tool and slip it underneath here and pull up. And you have the fabric separated and the seam is completely ripped. And then you can go ahead and like pull out your threads, and that's that. You can also use this shorter end. I don't use this very often, but it is still important. The same thing, this will help you not to poke a hole in your fabric when you're taking out the seam. And again, you're doing this away from you because you don't want to poke yourself or something like that. I'm sure I've done it before. So again, what I like to do is kind of tug at the material where you can see the seams, you can see the threads. Take the shorter end of the tool, hook, it's kind of like you're hooking it here, and you can take it out that way. Let's see, I'm trying to do this. Like, again, I don't really use this part, so but let's see. You're sliding it right in here. I mean, you can start here, but I'm gonna start in the middle and just pull the threads. It's supposed to slide. Let me pull it up a little bit more so you can see how it's coming loose. You can hear the threads popping, and see it's coming in. Then sometimes you can kind of tug at it, but you know, if you have a delicate fabric or a loosely woven fabric, don't pull your fabric because you may put a hole in it. So I'm just gonna finish this side, trying not to stab myself. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fold this seam under like that and hold it here. Take that shorter end of the tool, insert it in between the seams, making sure I'm not catching any of the fabric, and just pushing upward with the tool. Let's see. Here we are. Oh. But there it is. It's a loose. You can just pull out your threads that are loose and broken. And that is how you use a seam ripper. Again, this is what it looks like. There's many different ones. There's larger ones. This is a teeny one. Maybe if you have a smaller project. I do have a larger one. I could not find it for this tutorial. But I hope that this was very helpful to you. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys on Thursday for some doll chat. God bless you and have a good evening.